The future of gaming is finally here in the form of the PlayStation 5, with the most recent Sony digital event not only showcasing the highly anticipated console coming this holiday season, but some of the exclusive games you'll be able to play on the system too, presenting a good mixture of actual gameplay, looking at you Microsoft,
shame, 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 shame on you,
and teases of games for what's to release this year as well as in the near future. Now, I won't be covering every single reveal that was showcased during the Future of Gaming event in this video, just the ones that I found to be the most interesting as a potential PS5 owner. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Starting with the first and my favorite game reveal from this event, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. A standalone game within Insomniac's Marvel Universe, centered around, well, Miles Morales as the new wall crawler defending the city streets of New York, which is set to release holiday 2020, most likely as a launch title for the PS5. However, according to reports, Spider-Man Miles Morales isn't a full-fledged sequel to Spider-Man PS4, but more of a standalone expansion like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy and Infamous First Light. Basically, a bridge title with content that is larger than your average DLC add-on, but not enough content to warrant the hefty $60 price tag. Which could explain how Insomniac was able to quickly churn out another game within 2 years' time. Even if that's the case, I'm all for it, because ever since I saw the tease of Miles Morales in one of the earlier trailers for Spider-Man PS4, I've been anticipating the moment for Miles' version of Spider-Man being a playable character. And in this game, it looks like the spotlight is solely on him taking on new adversaries during the winter season, with his spider powers in full effect, as well as use of his unique abilities that Peter Parker doesn't have, which include invisibility and the electric Venom Strike. Ultimately, it was a smart business move on Sony's part in making Miles Morales exclusive to the PS5 and not cross-gen with the PS4. I'm sure come holiday 2020, the PS5 is going to be selling like hotcakes because of this title alone. Sticking with Insomniac, we have the reveal of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, a sequel to the Ratchet & Clank reimagining released in 2016. Fun fact, I've actually never played any of the Ratchet & Clank games in my life. Which is crazy to me when you consider the games that I played that were in similar genres on the PS1 and PS2, such as Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Sly Cooper, as well as Jak and Daxter. That being said, Rift Apart looks like a visual delight of a platformer, with the planet-hopping instant loading gameplay mechanic that sends Ratchet & Clank across the galaxy at hyperspeed being a huge selling point for the game. It might have convinced me to finally give this series a shot. Plus, we got the introduction of a new character in the form of a yet unnamed female Lombax with a mechanical arm, who may end up being a playable character as well. We'll just have to wait and see. Next, we have a new IP in the form of Kena Bridge of Spirits. Developed by Ember Lab, the creators of Majora's Mask fan film, Terrible Fate, and various other animated projects, Kena Bridge of Spirits looks like a playable Disney Pixar film, as the game centers around Kena, a young spirit guide who travels to an abandoned village in search of the sacred mountain shrine, all the while struggling to uncover the secrets of this forgotten community hidden in the overgrown forest where wandering spirits are trapped. Throughout Kena's journey, she'll be accompanied by these Pikmin-like spirits called Rot, that help maintain balance by decomposing dead and rotting elements in the cutest way possible. According to the game's description, players are expected to find and grow a team of these tiny black furballs, enhancing their abilities and creating new ways to manipulate the environment. Overall, I'm loving everything the game has presented thus far, from the rich visuals, lush environments, style of combat, intriguing lore, and Pixar-level cinematics. However, Kena's in-game movements, as briefly highlighted in the trailer, do seem a bit stiff, moving more like a character from a PS2 era game. Other than that, this game might end up being a day one purchase for me, and I don't even have to upgrade consoles to play it because apparently Kena Bridge of Spirits will not only be available for PS5, but for PS4 and PC as well. Granted, the game will most likely run better on PS5, and most certainly on PC, but at least I have a backup plan just in case I miss out on getting a PS5 this year. Moving on to another new IP on the horizon is Square Enix's Project Athia, the working title for Luminous Productions' first game, and is set to be developed for PS5 and PC. This game is aiming to transport players into a world filled with beauty and apprehension as they're thrust into a thrilling story-led, action-packed adventure which is promising to be twisted, intense, and disturbing. Not going to lie, the start of this trailer had me thinking this was going to be a reveal for Final Fantasy XVI, but once I saw those shoes, I retracted that thought really quick. That being said, here's hoping Square Enix did not announce this game prematurely, and we don't have to wait 5+ years to play it. Transitioning to a game that is set up to be even more twisted is the reveal of Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8. Get it because the VILL makes a Roman numeral 8?
nice.
Now this game was leaked a while back, so some fans knew this announcement was coming sooner than later. Even then, I was still surprised by the trailer up until the end that it was Resident Evil Village. Also, it looks like Resident Evil Village is going to continue using the gameplay style to that of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, with Ethan Winters back as the main protagonist, thanks to gruff Wesker looking Chris Redfield throwing Ethan back into the mix of this new and twisted nightmare. Honestly, I'm not a fan of Resident Evil continuing to be in first person. I'd much rather have the series remain a third person survival horror in the style of the latest Resident Evil remakes. That being said, having the game be played through a first person lens does tend to make horror games a much more immersive and thrilling experience. Plus we get to fight werewolves this time around, so that should be fun. Moving on to the last major game reveal of the event, we have Horizon 2 Forbidden West. The sequel to one of the most beloved PS4 games of this generation, where players once again control Aloy, a hunter in a world ruled by machines. According to reports, the game's new open world setting takes place in a post-apocalyptic California, hence the subtitle Forbidden West. Now there was no release window for the game in the trailer, but I have a strong feeling Forbidden West will release sometime in 2021. Also, when it comes to teases of new content that will be introduced in Forbidden West, we're getting new machine types which include giant turtles, warthogs, pterodactyls, and massive elephants built for war straight out of Lord of the Rings Return of the King. New locales to explore such as the ruins of San Francisco and the Yosemite Valley, as well as a tease of underwater exploration. Now before I share my overall thoughts on the PS5 console, or consoles, I have a few game reveals I want to give a brief shout out to as honorable mentions, which include Returnal, a sci-fi third-person shooter that looks like a cross between Mass Effect and the Tom Cruise film Edge of Tomorrow, where players take control of a space pilot stranded on an alien world, and every time she dies, the world regenerates. Pragmata, Capcom's newest IP in the last 4 years, and at first glance it looked like a sequel to Death Stranding, but developers clarified that it isn't. The game is set to release in 2022, so don't expect a gameplay reveal anytime soon. Lastly, I want to quickly mention Demon's Souls. Even though I'm not interested in Soulborn games, I have to give the respect to the game that started it all, with Bluepoint Games at the helm of another remake to a beloved PlayStation classic, as they previously worked on the remake for Shadow of the Colossus. All I can say is RIP to future PS5 controllers, cause of death, rage quit. Finally, let's wrap things up by talking about the design of the PlayStation 5 console. My first impressions were that the console looked like a building you would see in Abu Dhabi 50 years from now, with Sony going for a futuristic aesthetic, with a white and black design matching the previously revealed DualSense controller, as well as a black internal block bordered by 2 white wings along its sides, each lit by blue LEDs, hammering home the future of gaming tagline. The console can be placed vertically or horizontally, but it seems the preferred stance is keeping the PS5 up straight. Also, Sony revealed that the PS5 has a digital edition, which is a modified version of the PS5 that lacks a disc drive, solely used for digitally downloading games and other content, and will most likely be the cheaper model compared to the PS5 with a disc drive. Personally, I think the design is fine, though the wings at the edge of the console do seem a bit unnecessary. Here's hoping Sony will develop a black version of the console in the near future. So let me just think in the comments down below about the PS5 Future of Gaming event. What was your favorite game reveal, and what are your overall thoughts on the console? If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, it really helps me out. Subscribe for more content from me on the PS5 and other gaming content in general. I'm DMLX, I'll see you in the future.